Hello and good evening. I am going to talk tonight on the concept of the New World Order. And I know you've heard a lot of videos about this and a lot of, skepticism on whether it's real or not and stuff like that. I don't want you to just believe me at my word. I want to give you examples of how they're enacting this power over us as United States citizens. Okay? 1. The border, for example, is not being closed off for a reason. The reason being is because we're dependent upon Mexico and they're dependent upon us. And I don't have to tell you what's going on. If you're blind to it, you need to look at the news and find out exactly what's happening on your border and about the groups of people in the United States. They're creating division is what they're doing. This is one of their first steps in integrating their system. If they can cause division among the people and cause chaos, then they can instill martial law, because when there is unstable behavior in a civilization, you've seen this happen over in the Soviet Union, you've seen this happen over during World War II, you see this happening in a lot of communist countries, except that we're not communist. We're becoming more socialist. Obviously you can see that a lot of our freedoms and things are being taken away. But now, beyond what I'm just said right now, the one example is the border. Another two example is there is no real recession. This recession was man-made. Okay, there's plenty of money in the system. For right, and the other example is $6 trillion is unaccounted for in our government. We set it out to help the system. I don't know if it has to do with TARP or whatever, but I'm just telling you there's $6 trillion that's unaccounted for, and they've had 8 months to investigate this, and they still come up with these lame excuses about where the money is. They will not tell you where the money is. There was also another investigation when we gave money out to these banks. In the very beginning, we gave out these stimulus packages, and they investigated the banks and the guy that's head of the banks, and they asked him where the money was, and the man openly said, "It's none of your business." Do you understand what's going on here? We're giving money away to banks. The banks are dispersing it internationally. They're slowly decaying the United States. The United States is a superpower. It is. And it will remain a superpower. But the only thing that they're trying to do now is maintain control. They're opening up the door of both continents of, you got North America and you got Canada, which is an open border, and you have Mexico, which they're making an open border. They're trying to unite these two areas together. They said that if they can curtail the problems down in Mexico, that it will be an economic superpower. Of course, we're people that will work for $2 an hour and live in shacks. And that's basically what they want to do with us. They want us to live on minimal. They want to take away the American dream. And they are. They've already done it. Tons of people have lost their houses. Manny Fay, or whatever it's called. That was a ploy years ago to get these people in debt. They knew darn well these people could not afford these houses. They knew it. And they put up these loans. They made money off the interest. These people were just paying on interest on their properties, on these mortgages. You got a 20, 30-year mortgage and the economy bottoms out. Guess where all your money goes and your property? It goes to the banks. And the banks disperse it amongst themselves. FDIC approved. Okay, that means it's government approved. Well, they're all connected with the government. Of course, they're not independent subsidiaries. They are all connected. And as far as there being a lack of money in this country, there's not a lack of money in this country. There's a lack of money staying in this country. All this money is being dispersed outside the country for defense and many other things that you're not even aware of. And they're openly telling you, they're telling us, and we're so stupid we don't see it. They're telling us, we're taking the money. We're taking your civil rights, and there's nothing you're going to do about it. And they're dividing and conquering us that way, because they know that we're a nation that's built on, we're consumers basically. We've been taught to be consumers. We buy from big organizations like Walmart and all these other places. That's just an example. They have us zoned in. We don't grow our own vegetables anymore. We depend on going to the grocery store. We depend on getting bottled water now because the water is not safe to drink. We're dependent upon them to provide us money. You know, and in these big organizations to get help from Big Brother. We're no longer independent. We're dependent upon the government. And this is their whole program, to keep us dependent upon them, which keeps us pacified and them in control. It's like a hungry animal coming out of the woods. He's going to go to where the food is. As long as he's being fed and he's warm and he's comfortable, he'll stay content where he's at, and he won't venture out of that area because right there is where the food is. And he has no other alternative. So this is basically what we're like. I know we're smart as human beings, but the game they're playing with us is with our livelihood, with our existence. You know, having shelter, a warm place to live, you know, food stamps. A lot of people normally would rather work than collect food stamps. But, you know, people are going to collect food stamps. People are going to do what they can do to survive. They're keeping us, I've already said this in my other video, they knock the middle class right out of the box. The middle class does not exist. My grandfather told me this 35 years ago. He knew this. He told me he's a very smart man. He's been informed by all kinds of people. He wasn't what you call a super educated person, but he was really informed and a people person. So he knew people and connections in high places. And he told me, in the future, there will not be no middle class. The middle class will be knocked out. And the government will take control. And they are. And little by little, inch by inch, minute by minute, they're taking control. And you think that you're going to break this control? I'm sorry. If you don't see it now and nothing's being done now, it's not going to change. This New World Order is going to come into effect, not because I want it to come into effect. It's because people are going to have to become dependent upon the system to survive. This is their goal, and this is their plan. Okay, this is just part of it. They've been doing this for about, what, 50, 60 years they've been planning this. You know, it ain't just an overnight thing. And they've been integrating this by having occupations throughout the world. You know, having their foot in all the different soils and lands. We are all over the world, right? Almost every country in the world speaks English. In America, how many people do you know speak a foreign language or two? They speak more foreign language. They speak more languages overseas than we do in our own country. We're supposed to be a superpower and one of the most educated lands in the world. We're not. We're being deceived. We're being contained like cattle. We're being transformed into what they want us to be. They want us to think that everything's okay. And that's what we think because we have our cushy TVs and we've been told on the news about how things are and the way things should be, and we buy into it. You know, media, the whole thing is a control factor. You don't see it. You cannot see it because as a little child, the propaganda was placed in your mind when you were in school. And we're talking about, my grandfather told me how things have changed in his lifetime. And he told me these things would change and occur, and they have. This is a man that lived during a time where the Depression, he worked through it, and they survived, and they had a farm and all that. He made it. But today, you can't just do that. A farm will cost you $700,000, $800,000 for a small farm. And on top of that, you got to pay taxes. Then you got to pay so much to plant the crops. You know, the farmer and the old ways of living are out. We're trapped in a box. I hope somebody's smart enough to see a way out of this box, and I hope the rest of the society will see what's happening to them. But for right now, I just want you to focus on what I've told you. This is only a little bit. I'll do another video and give you a little more information about what's really happening around you. Open your eyes. See the truth. Seek it and you'll find it. I'm telling you, these things are not fallacies, they're factual. Look around you.